Hello, this video is brought to you by Pickaweb, and it is on the subject of how to build your first website. 5 things you need to take into account. And your presentation is brought to you by myself, Tony Messer. I'm one of the co-founders of Pickaweb. We're a UK domains and web hosting company, and our sister company is Maxima Local, and we help businesses with their web design, web marketing and social media management. So if you need any help on any of those areas, just pop over to our websites. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to be able to help you. So in this presentation, we're going to be looking at 5 important questions, and here they are. First, we'll look at what's the best domain name. Should you include SEO keywords in your domain name? Should you build your own website or use a web designer? We'll look at what's the best web design tool. And finally, how do you choose a web designer? So let's start with domain names. And the first point to bear in mind is that domain names are really important. And despite their importance, they're actually very cheap, and they're very quick and easy to register. You don't need to have some kind of paperwork or anything like that. They're issued on a first come, first served basis. And what I would say in terms of getting the best domain name, always try to get a domain name where the .com domain is available, and then get the local country equivalent. So for example, if you're in the UK, you'd probably want to get a .co.uk and a .com domain name. And really what you're doing, even if you don't use the .com domain, and there are other types of domain name, you can get sort of industry ones like say .bike or .photography or whatever. If you're registering several domain names to take them off the market, that's a good move because you'll avoid what's known as domain squatting, and that's where someone purchases a domain name and then they try to sell it back to you at an inflated price. They're basically holding it ransom. You don't want to get into that situation. And believe you me, it does happen. We speak quite often to customers who have this exact problem. So I would always recommend get the .com, take it off the market, even if you're not going to use it. And also your domain name, it can be different from your registered company name. You don't have to think that you're constrained. I've got, my company XYZ limited, that you have to have mycompanyxyz.com or .co.uk. You can be flexible with your domain names. But what I would say is that shorter domain names and ones that don't have complex spelling, you don't want to make people think about it. They're the best ones. And also I would avoid, if possible, using hyphens as well, because people can misplace them or leave them out altogether. So try to take that into account. If you get several domain names, you can just set up what's called domain parking. If you have the .co.uk as the main domain name for your website and you've got the .com as a secondary one, then what you can do is just park the .com domain. If someone types that in by mistake, they'll be taken straight to the .co.uk website. Domain parking takes about 5 seconds to set up through your web hosting control panel. If you're using, for example, cPanel, you can log in and you'll see there's a domain parking option there. So another point about domain names, and often people will ask me this question, is should I be including my keywords in my domain name? And you're probably thinking, whoa, hold on a minute, what keywords? Well, when you go to Google, do a quick search in there if you're looking for a particular service, those are keywords. And sometimes people will think, well, if I include those keywords in my domain name, then that'll help my Google ranking. I'm going to get a higher position in the search engines. I'll get more clicks, more traffic. I'm going to get more customers. And there is evidence that including keywords in domain names can help, but it's you need to it comes with a health warning, I'd say. So let's look at an example. Let's say that we've got an electrician, so bobtheelectrician.com. That could be fine. Now Bob's maybe based down in Exeter. He could probably get away with something bobtheelectrician.exeter.co.uk. maybe that wouldn't be such a bad option. It's starting to sound a little bit on the edge, but then definitely if you were to go for something like low cost registered electrician in Exeter, Devon, Cornwall.co.uk, that is pure 100% spam. You're just trying to game the search engines. You're trying to trick Google into giving you traffic for electricians and cover all sorts of different keywords combinations that people would type in. So don't go mad on this one. Don't fret about it. You can include your keywords if it's maybe your area or your industry, something like that, but just don't go crazy. A final point on this is, as you start to develop your website, what you can do is use your keywords in the URL. So if you're creating different pages of your websites, you might have areas covered, and then you can start to include the areas that you cover in the keywords. But I don't try to contort yourself to squeeze keywords into your domain name. All right, so enough on that. Let's move on. A really important question: should I build my own website or should I hire a web designer? And I think clearly the answer here is it all depends on your budget. If you're cash strapped, if you're just starting out and you just haven't got that budget for a website, then look at a website builder. We've got one at Pickaweb. It's a great tool. It's a really good choice, and it comes with a load of templates. Very, very easy to use. That's the beauty of it. Anyone can use it. You don't need any design skills. Haven't got to download any software. You just do it all through an online system. And it's got all of the main features you're going to need. So you can create contact forms, multiple pages, you can add maps. It's got SEO features, so you can put all of your keywords in there. It's even got a very basic e-commerce platform, so you can integrate it with, say, PayPal if you're selling individual items. So it's a good starting point. It's really easy to use. It's easy to build and maintain a basic website. You can keep adding content to it, add new pages and that type of thing. However, if you do have a budget, then I would definitely recommend considering WordPress. And even if you start off with Website Builder, maybe a little bit down the line, once you've got a bit of traction, you've got a few customers signed up, maybe think then about moving over to a WordPress platform. And we'll have a look at this now here. So what's the best web design tool overall? Well, if it's a main website as opposed to an e-commerce one, just a straightforward website, I would definitely recommend WordPress, because you're future-proofing your website. And WordPress, it's a really, really popular tool. In fact, over 25% of all websites on the web use WordPress. So it's a very, very popular platform. If you're building an e-commerce website, this is where you're selling online and you're taking payments, then look at Magento or PrestaShop. WordPress does come with some e-commerce functionality, and there's a particularly good tool called WooCommerce that you could use. Now, Magento is a very, very powerful tool. It's slightly more complex. PrestaShop less so, and you can get templates for it and that type of thing. So those are, if you're e-commerce, those are the types of platforms you should consider. In any case, all of these are actually free. They're what's called open source, and if you use web hosting like Pickaweb, we have a control panel called cPanel, and it has a one-click installation tool. So you just log in, click the installation, and it will set it all up for you. Now, all of these tools, they come under the umbrella name of content management systems, and the beauty in particular of WordPress is that it's not an exotic tool. It's very, very popular amongst web designers for a whole range of reasons. So there's a very, very competitive market, and that means that there are lower costs for you. And that's another thing to consider. If you're using WordPress, you'll find designers easy to A, build your website, and then B, maybe later on down the line, if you need changes made to it, you're going to find it very easy to find WordPress designers. Also, with WordPress, there are thousands and thousands of ready-made plugins, so you can add lots and lots of extra features to your website. Whatever you can think of, someone's built a plugin for it. Also, there's loads of ready-made templates. A lot of these will be mobile friendly. These days, that's really, really important, because people are browsing more and more with their mobile devices, whether that's phones or tablets, as opposed to sitting at home using a desktop. Also, another really positive point in WordPress's favour, it's very strong on SEO, so search engine optimization. This is so that you can get a better position in Google. Okay, so definitely overall would recommend WordPress for your web design. So if you get to the point where you want to choose a web design, if you're going to get someone to build it, obviously go on recommendations first. If you know somebody, they've got a local designer and you can meet up with them and discuss your needs, that's great. That's always good to make sure that you're getting someone who's been recommended to you. Obviously check the examples of their work And ideally, speak to their clients. You want to understand what was the process like? How did they respond to changes? Was the pricing reasonable? And you just want to get a good feel for them. Check if they're okay with WordPress. What you want to try to avoid is getting stuck in with some kind of exotic tool that only they can make changes to, because you could then find yourself tied in. And if you do need changes made, and usually you will, they could be more expensive. And also, these types of tools, they may not have the full set of features that something like WordPress has. WordPress got a whole sort of ecosystem of designers and developers around it, creating tools for it and ensuring it's a secure platform. Also, make sure that anything they build for you is mobile friendly. I've just touched on that a minute ago. This is called responsive design. So whatever website they build, it looks good if you look at it through a mobile phone, a tablet, desktop, laptop, or whatever type of device. That's, again, really, really important point, mobile friendly. You don't want to have to come back and add that on afterwards and find that it's doubled the price because you need a completely new design done. Another really good option is to look at a ready-made WordPress template. Now, in WordPress speak, templates are called themes. So if you just do a search on mobile-friendly WordPress themes or responsive WordPress themes, responsive design is that design style where it is mobile friendly, and you can find thousands and thousands of templates, and you can usually find them in your particular industry. They're very cheap. We're looking at between £50 to £70. That's maybe $60 to $90, something like that. And what you could do is hire a freelance designer. There's loads of websites like Upwork and Guru where you can find these designers, and they're very used to dealing with these situations where someone's bought a template and they just need to customize it for that particular need. Now, if you do decide to go down this route, you'll find on these freelance sites that the designers, they get the freelancers, they get reviews and comments from previous customers, and that's great. That helps you make an initial choice. But what I would recommend is investing in some testing. So when you before you hire them, run a test for them, and there's places like testforgeeks.com that you can do that. And what you want to do is make sure that you're only hiring the A graders. Don't, if someone's scoring a D, you're not interested. You only want to get the A graders. And a final point in terms of communication, do insist that they communicate with you on Skype as well as email, so that you can contact them and ask them questions and really just make sure the whole process goes much more smoothly. So there you go. There's those 5 important questions. Let's just quickly wrap it up and go through them. I'd say get the .com and the local domain name. So, for example, a .co.uk if you're in the UK. Take the .com off the market. That way, people can't hold you to ransom with domain or cyber squatting. Choose shorter domains if possible. Try to avoid the temptation to stuff loads and loads of keywords in there. If you're on a shoestring budget, use Website Builder to get you up and running. That'll get you your first basic website with the features that you need in it. As soon as you can afford it, consider switching to WordPress. Maybe use a ready-made WordPress template if you don't have a local designer that you can work with. If you do that, look at a freelance designer, do a test on them, and only hire the A graders, and you won't have any problems. That'll keep costs to the absolute minimum for you. Okay, well, I hope you've found that useful and enjoyed this presentation. If you do need any help with your online marketing, just head over to Maxima Local, and we've actually got a book there for you, a free book, the Website Survival Kit. You can download it, get instant access. It's full of great hints and tips. You'll fly through it, and at the end of it, you'll have a really good understanding of what you need to create a really powerful online marketing plan for your business. Okay? Well, thank you very much for listening. Good luck. If you do have any questions, just put them below. We do read them, we do appreciate them, and we will get back to you. Thank you very much then. Bye-bye.